Welcome to another episode of From Amateur to Expert Daily. And today we're talking about dating, but not just any kind of dating. We're discussing the idea of dating a talent bureau or an agency that represents you. My name is Douglas Kruger. I've been a professional speaker for some 15-16 years now, and I work with a number of speakers bureaus around the world. And we're going to extrapolate from the idea of a speakers bureau to talent bureaus in general. The ideas are pretty much generic across the spectrum. I've worked out for myself that I get about half of my income, half of my business, through my own efforts and through my own marketing. And the other half of my income comes via agencies and bureaus. I'd like you to think about that for just a second. It means that if I were not working with agencies, I would lose half my income. It's a good idea to have representation, but there are good and bad ways, right and wrong ways of going about it. And quite often, talent can cause extreme frustration to bureaus when they don't know what they're doing and they make amateur mistakes. So here's what I've done for you. I went and spoke to one of the bureaus that I've worked with for the longest, and that's a speaker agency called Marie Gray and Associates. I've been a professional speaker for some 15-16 years now, and I've worked with them for about 14 or 15 of those years. So we have a long-standing relationship. And I asked them a simple question. I said, what are the mistakes that speakers make when they come to you? And I believe we can extrapolate from this one out to writers, artists, talent of any form. And they were very quick on the draw with the mistakes that they see all the time. And this is the kind of thing that tends to disqualify talent. They've given me 7 and I will share them with you. Let's start with one that isn't actually one of their bullet points, but is really just an overarching principle. I see this all the time and they see this all the time. And that is a sense of entitlement. Do not approach an agent with a sense of entitlement. Agencies do not owe you anything. It is our job as the talent, as the speaker, as the artist, as the author, to approach them politely and prove ourselves. Approach with a sense of arrogance and entitlement and you are struck out right from the word go. Right, with that, let's jump in. The 7 things that most frustrate agents and mistakes that you don't have to make as you date your talent bureau. Number 1. Artists who don't invest in themselves, their self-growth, and their knowledge base. So here's how this works in our world. A professional speaker has to stand up in front of groups of people, and often fairly advanced groups of people, CEOs, leaders, industry leaders, people who are affecting the lives of others, and they have to share knowledge and ideas. If they're not keeping up to date in their field, that can be a disqualifier. So are you up to date with all the latest ideas in your field? And as I sometimes ask, are you up to date with the ideas that have been disqualified, disproven, and falsified? The things that everybody believed 10, 15 years ago, but which have been proven to be untrue. What is your daily regimen, your process, and your program for investing in yourself? Are you, for example, reading Harvard Business Review every month? Are you attending certain conferences, listening to podcasts, reading books? What is your active daily program for increasing your knowledge and staying up to date? Number 2, this is an ethical one. Not passing on additional events from the client. It plays out something like this. A top new speaker appears at an event and they wow the crowd and everybody loves them. And then the manager comes walking over and says, gosh, that was brilliant. We'd like to book you for the next event, for the next conference, for the next seminar. And the speaker does something unethical, which is to say, don't worry, book me directly. You can have me cheaper. Here are the ethics of that scenario. You would not have that booking were it not for the agent. That is the agent's client. All you have to do, it's the right thing to do, and it is so simple, pass that booking back to the agent. The conversation goes like this. Thank you, I'm delighted to hear about that. I will ask my agency to give you a call and we'll set that up. Not only is it the right thing to do, it is the clever thing to do strategically, because if you keep your agent happy, you will have 15, 20 years of work with them. It just makes sense. Number 3, not keeping a date for your agent. If you are new to the world of working with agencies and bureaus, make a point of doing this. Get yourself a diary, create the online diary. As soon as you get an inquiry from them, it goes straight into the diary. Anything else that happens, if you get another call from a potential booking, a family member wants you to come to an event, the first thing you do You go back to the bureau and you say, is that date going ahead? Do I need to keep it booked out in the diary? Do not put the agent in a scenario where they confirm the date and then you pull out because something else has happened in the meantime. It's unprofessional, it's difficult for them, and worst of all, it makes them look bad in front of the client. Our job is to make the bureau look good in front of the client. Number 4, failure to update profiles and photographs. If you've been watching these videos for a while, you'll know that every now and again I do a surprise audit where I say, go over your website, go over your bio, go over your promotional materials and check that everything is up to date. Even a single year will make a massive difference. You might have a new book, you might have a new talk, a new act, you might just look a year older. These things must be updated and they must be updated constantly. Therein lies an opportunity for you. How powerful are your visuals? What if you keep elevating yourself and promoting yourself up the ranks of your industry by getting better and stronger visuals? Number 5, and I'm delighted to see that the agency shared this one because I've been banging on about it for years if you've been watching these videos. You must have video footage of you in action. There is nothing more powerful than the visual, visceral effect of a top expert in performance. It is infinitely stronger than text on a website that says, I do this. To see you on a big stage with lights, the auditorium, the audience, the sense of grandeur and excitement, all of that way outperforms text. You must film everything that you do. Here's a simple little trick that I sometimes use as well. When you have great video footage, you can occasionally pause it, take a screenshot, and if it's high definition, well, there are your photos as well. Number 6. Here's another bugbear. Changing flight and accommodation details that have been booked by the client. I've heard this one done before and it wrecked a professional relationship. The speaker is booked to go and speak in another city. The client and the agent sort out all of the travel, all of the accommodation, and pay for it, and then the speaker goes, forget that, I'll book my own flights, I'll take my own accommodation, and wastes the company's money. Yes, these things do get back to the agent, yes, they do get back to the client, no, they're not particularly good for you. Number 7, and finally, being disorganized, ill-prepared, or even drunk at an event. Agents have seen it all, and those are relationship enders. Think about it this way. That bureau has a certain function in the universe. They are the professional option. Here comes a client, it's a big group like a BMW or a large bank, something down those lines, and they say, we want the credible speaker, we want the top performer, we'll trust the bureau. That's the function that the bureau performs. They bring the best of the best, they bring the vetted, they bring the professional. Now, if you undo that by being late, tardy, ill-prepared, drunk, by interacting in socially unacceptable ways with their teams or their staff, by just being a jerk in general, you disqualify yourself and you undo the value of the bureau. The fact that the bureau has you there is a stamp of approval for you as a professional. My friend and fellow speaker Billy Selakani talks about the privilege of the platform. I'd like you to take that little phrase to heart. Being on a public platform, being vetted by a talent bureau is a sign of honor and a recognition of excellence. Take it seriously and you will improve and strengthen the relationship, and over time that will work to your mutual benefit. Date your agency cleverly and you'll have a long, lasting and satisfying relationship. It's the smart thing to do and it helps to position you as an expert.